Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Anna, and today we are going to talk about products that I think perform just like high-end products, if not better, from the drugstore. And yeah, that's what we're doing. We're going to put them on the face, talk all about them, and show you them in action. If that interests you, just go ahead, keep on watching. Before you do, don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below, let me know your thoughts on this type of video of going through products that I think are just should be high-end products. They're that good. And let me know in the comments if you can think of anything that you use from the drugstore that performs 10 out of 10 better than anything that you've tried from a luxury brand. Let me know that down below. Or if you just know some good dupes, let me know that as well. I love doing these kind of videos. I just think it's really fun testing and playing with product and seeing what's good, what's the best, what is worth the money. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into a full face of makeup that I think performs like high-end from the drugstore. Hi guys, okay, good morning. So today we're going to be playing with some makeup that I think can compete, if not outperform, high-end makeup and, dare I say, luxury makeup. Some of these things rival luxury makeup. And yeah, that's what we're doing today. Total full face, all the way from brows to lips, everything. So we're gonna start with brows because that's usually where it starts my makeup routine. And I kind of didn't think about including this until I started actually filling in my brows just now. And I was like, wait a minute, we need to include that in the video. So something we're pretty all familiar with is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. My favorite dupe and brow pencil that I think performs better than Brow Wiz, honestly, is the e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil. Really nice shades, very, very nice actual brow color shades. They're not weird undertones or anything like that. Like, they actually look like brow colors. Really nice shade range. And they are super affordable, little micro pencil. Gets the job done just as good as any of the micro pencils on the market, including the high-end ones. And yeah, every brand under the sun pretty much has these now, but I still think e.l.f. ones are the best value across the board as far as a micro pencil goes. And quality, shade range, all of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of finish filling my brows in a little bit. I always do my brows before I do anything else, that way I can kind of clean up the shape and stuff with foundation concealer. Let's get in my process. So I usually just take the pencil kind of backwards through the brow like this to fill in really lightly, and then just make sure everything is looking full and fluffy and give it a good brush through, and there we go. I like to go through backwards because it applies it to the skin, and I don't know, I just feel like it looks nice that way. Learned that from Hung Van Gogh and has been kind of my go-to way of doing brows. And just very barely touching the skin, and it fills them in so well. We'll use the e.l.f. Wow Brow because this is a wonderful dupe of the Benefit Give Me Brow. It is one of those little brow mascaras that has the fibers in it. Wonderful brow product, and it does give some volume and fullness to the brow with a little bit of hold, but I really like it for the kind of fullness that it gives the brow. Some days I just apply this alone. Some days I do both pencil. Just depends on the mood, but I usually take this backwards through the brow as well, and then I'm gonna brush them into place. And just gives them a nice fluffy, full, voluminous look. Especially if you have fairly thin brows. This can kind of beef them up a little bit, you know, and adjust the color a little too, because some of my brow hairs are very, very pale. This gives them a little bit of pigmentation. And I think that is probably my favorite brow products out of all the brow products I've tried. And I've tried a lot of brow products. And the e.l.f. ones just knock it out of the park for me every time. Lumi Glotion from L'Oreal. This falls somewhere between the Say Glowy Super Gel and Charlotte Tilbury's Flawless Filter. A little bit like a MAC Strobe Cream kind of vibe. That's Lumi Glotion. Gives you really good hydration. Beautiful glow on the skin. You can pinpoint apply it, and build up the glow in certain areas. If you want, you can do it all over the face. As a priming step, you can mix it with your foundation. It is a very versatile product, and I think absolutely rivals the high-end counterparts. It's just in a squeezy tube. That's really the only difference. And it was out here doing the Lord's work before Flawless Filter hit the market. This has been out forever. So yeah, this is the shade Light. I also have it in medium. It's a wonderful product. Really gives beautiful hydration to the skin. It kind of gives a little bit of a filtered effect as well. And a little tiny bit of coverage, depending. I think it can give really pretty coverage depending what your preferences and how much glow you like. So I'm gonna apply this towards the more perimeter of the face, if you will, and high points. Just avoiding the T-zone, but if it comes over into the T-zone, I'm not gonna be mad about it, but I'm sticking mostly to this outer part with it. And you see what a pretty glow that gives the cheekbone. Just very soft. And you kind of can't beat the added hydration. Beautiful shade range, just a really good product. And it's not overly dewy or anything like that. Like, it just soaks into the skin and gives some really nice hydrated feel in the way that like the Say Glowy Super Gel does, but it looks more like Flawless Filter. And you can build this up and get more from it on, say, like the higher points. By taking a little bit more and focusing it like right here. And it will kind of dry down and set in. You can see it does offer a little bit of coverage too. And the undertone of this, the tone of the glow within the Limique lotions is very pretty and kind of just a natural glow. Like, it's not overtly gold or champagne or anything. It's just somewhere in between, just perfect kind of sheen. It's not glittery. And because it's hydrating, I feel like it's nice over drier skin and flows over texture really well. That's gonna be our glow for today, actually. Just gonna make sure it's nice and blended in. How nice is that? Isn't that pretty? And going up a deeper shade in it can give the most beautiful warmth to the skin. I love doing that and then mixing it with a foundation. Wonderful finish. And then in the T-zone, I'm going to go with the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. This is a beautiful primer. It is soft focus, kind of blurring to the skin. It gives that not mattified, but a little bit of a velvety soft focus look, but it's not flat matte or anything like that. It doesn't suck the life out of your skin, but it kind of softens the look of pores and fine lines and everything. Great for the T-zone. Plays really well with every foundation I've tried it with, and it's just a really pretty primer, and I believe it is comparable to the Tatcha Liquid Canvas. Liquid Silk Canvas, something like that. I can't quite remember the name. It's been a long time since I used it, and I think it is so much nicer than the actual putty primer solid. I like this liquid formulation. I think it's beautiful. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this. It's kind of a soft pink color. It doesn't have any color once it goes on the skin. And we're just gonna press this right here into the T-zone. And just work that in. And it just gives a very pretty kind of soft focus look to the face. And just kind of blurs in, makes things look a little bit smoother. Like, it's not gonna do like some insane huge difference, but it does something and just looks nice. And I have noticed it increase the wear time of my foundation and just have a better makeup day when I use this. Like, everything just looks a little bit nicer throughout the day. A little bit goes a long way, and you can see how it's not like making my skin look flat and matte. It just keeps it that skin-like look. It doesn't change the finish of your foundation or anything. So it looks really nice, I think. It just gives a little bit more smoothing right in there where I need it the most. And I like to layer something like this with a glowy base. I think they can play well really nicely together to kind of get the best of both worlds. So you're getting that pore filling, smoothing, filtered effect from this and the glow from the Glotion. And I don't think it really matters what order you apply them. You could go into Glotion after the fact, whichever way you prefer. Now, foundation. This is the number one foundation for me. This is top tier, holy grail foundation, and it comes from the drugstore. This is the Revolution Beauty Skin Silk Foundation. I've tried some beautiful foundations in my day. I have some foundations that I absolutely love, but this has just stolen my heart. As far as foundation goes, it's so beautiful on the skin. It has incredible wear time. It is that perfect, soft, luminous finish that's not too glowy. It's not greasy looking. It just has a nice luminosity to it. It looks so pretty on the face. It looks smooth and just filtered, and the wear time is incredible. It's lightweight, breathable. You barely feel it on your face. It ticks all the boxes, and it's affordable from the drugstore, and it comes in a really beautiful component that looks truly high-end. Like, this looks pretty on your countertop or your vanity. This looks pretty, and it's glass. This is nice. Makeup Revolution or Revolution Beauty, whatever their name is, they know how to do complexion products really well, and this is the best yet from them. You can get this at Ulta. Maybe some other stores are carrying it now, but I want to say it was kind of exclusive to Ulta. I'm going to put it on with an e.l.f. Dual Complexion Brush, another favorite product here, very similar to, I can't think who makes a brush like this. Is it It Cosmetics? I think makes one similar to this. And I'm not sure what this is duping, by the way, the Skin Silk, or if it's trying to dupe anything. I just think it performs better than a lot of the high-end foundations that I've tried. It's top tier out of everything. To me, it is my number one. It has a really nice kind of high-end fragrance to it as well. And just, it looks beautiful. F2 is a good match for me as well. So just kind of buff it in, and then do a little patting to work it into the skin. But yeah, it's kind of the perfect shade match for my skin tone, and this really gives that truly like creamy look to the skin that I love, where you look hydrated, your skin looks healthy, but it's not super glowy or matte. It's that nice middle ground that I really enjoy, that nice kind of satin finish. Soft satin finish, that's what I would call it. And this plays so well with the primer and Limique lotion. I think they look beautiful together. And it's a very easy foundation to apply. It's not one that you have to work or think about. You just kind of slap it on and it looks good. And it's got adjustable coverage level. You can shear it out, you can build it up. And I've worn this on the heaviest of leg days, and it's looked beautiful. I didn't expect this to have like such incredible wear time, because I don't think it's like marketed for that. Doesn't that look nice? I love it. I absolutely love it. Let's move on to some liquid contour. This from e.l.f. This is the Halo Glow Beauty one in the contour shade. The reason this is making it in this video and being featured is because of the shade. The shade is very similar to the contour products from like Fenty, the shade Amber. This has that cool undertone, that shadowiness that is so hard to find at the drugstore, if at all that you can find at the drugstore. And the packaging is really similar to like a high-end squeezy tube with the little applicator situation. It's the shade. It's the shade that makes this so special, and the blendability and ease of use. So I like to apply this with also a double-ended dual complexion brush from e.l.f. and this is a different one. I take the contour product like this. Now this does come in some really nice shades as well. It's 4 shades, but they're very, very well done shades. There's something for everybody within the shade range. And I also have this shade up from this that functions as a bronzer for me. The shade of this is perfect if you're fair like myself and are looking for like a contour product that is affordable. e.l.f. has got you covered. So I take a little bit on the small side of this brush here and kind of focus it in where I want my shadowiness to be. I just find it easier to apply with a brush. Take the larger side of the brush and just tap up, blend upward. And it gives such wonderful structure to the face. Easy to blend, easy to work with. And look at that, perfect contour color, perfect. Really good for contouring the nose as well. And for some actual bronzing, this from Milani, the Cheek Kiss Cream Bronzer in Hey Honey. Hey Honey, the shade for me anyways, but there is a beautiful shade range in this as well. Really, really good shade range. And the formulation of this, it rivals Charlotte Tilbury's Beautiful Skin Sun Kissed Glow Bronzer. The contour product within the Patrick Ta Cream Contour Bronzer Duo. Very similar formulation. Has some skincare ingredients. It's not just plain old cream, and it is just stiff enough to be easy to blend without it being too stiff and unblendable, and it's not greasy or slippy or slidey. It is that perfect formulation that is just easy to work with, and it kind of goes to almost a powdery finish once it's blended out, very similar to the way the Charlotte Tilbury one functions. Take some of this. I'm going to use my same brush I used for the applying the contour. I'm just going to take this broad side here, and I like to apply this in a more broad application, kind of around the perimeter of the face, just to bring some warmth in, like this, kind of in a 3. And doing tapping motions so I don't disturb my foundation underneath. So it just kind of warms the skin up just a little bit, and I like to bring some down the side of the neck. Learned that from Nikki LaRose, and I think that is just pure genius to add that bronzer right there. It really makes a difference. And using a pretty light hand, but just patting that on to the forehead. This just gives the skin a little bit more, little warmth and even more structure. So you don't have to do the cool tone contour if you don't want to. You can just use the bronzer or vice versa. I'm just going to show you all the steps today. Liquid blush. This is the Lumi liquid blush from L'Oreal. Think Rare Beauty liquid blush. Very similar to that, just a beautiful formulation. Very pigmented, a little bit goes a long way. They have 2 finishes within the range. This right here is the, what they call the dewy finish, and this is the shade Worth It. Now, I would call this more of a satin finish, not really dewy, but beautiful, beautiful finish, and kind of gives a soft focus look on the skin. Yeah, in the shade Worth It is beautiful. It's just a nice kind of warm, peachy, rosy shade. I'll take this onto the brush like so, just a little bit like this because it is rather pigmented. Kind of work it into the brush, make sure it's distributed properly, and then just tap a little on here. I think you can see how lovely that is, and just gives that kind of coming from within color. Really nice. Even that out, and this is so buildable. You could definitely go in with more, build it up. Really nice for underpainting because of the buildableness of it. Makes it very nice for multiple skin tones as well. I like to bring a little bit up to the forehead. So it just almost looks airbrushed on. I love it. It's such a nice formulation. This one, and honestly the Wet n Wild formulation, beautiful. But this one's winning because it is the most, I think it's the most versatile across the board. That's the only leg up it has. I think because it's a little bit more pigmented, it can work for more people. But this and the Wet n Wild liquid blush formula and the Maybelline one as well, all wonderful. But something about the Lumi one, it's real nice. I think it's the pigmentation level, especially in this dewy formulation, is beautiful. Concealer. We're gonna go back to Revolution Beauty and the IRL Soft Matte Concealer. This is truly a filtered look in a concealer. It is beautiful, beautiful on the skin. It gives a soft kind of matte look, a little soft focusy, if you will. It's not super duper suck the life out of you, dry, chalky looking. It's just that perfect soft matte finish that is lovely. I mean, to me, it rivals something like the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in a way. It's not heavy on the under eye. It's a very light formulation with great pigmentation and coverage and finish. It's just really good, and the formulation is nice. There's some skincare in it. You have a really cool doe foot. It's affordable, decent shade range. So yeah, I mean, it kind of ticks all the boxes for me. So I'm gonna apply some of this to the under eyes and outer corner and kind of use it as a highlighting step. This is the shade C2. Bring some down the center of the nose to highlight, especially right in here where I'm a little more shadowy. Kind of bring it up on the side of the nose. And I just really like the doe foot on this. It's a very thin formula with nice pigmentation level and blendability. Easy to work with. All right, and we'll blend this out with our foundation brush. And I apply this in a very thin layer. And there we go. How nice does that concealer look? So smooth, it's not settling into anything really. And to set this down, we're gonna go with the CoverGirl Simply Ageless Pressed Powder. This, to me, performs like a high-end product because it's like a hybrid of the By Terry Hydra Powder mixed with the NARS Light Reflecting Powder. This is a pressed powder that is infused with hyaluronic acid and vitamin E, like the By Terry powder, but the finish of it is a soft, lightly mattifying finish with a little bit of a light reflecting quality to it, very much like the NARS Light Reflecting Powder, except this is very super silky, finely milled, soft textured powder. It's beautiful. I have it in the translucent shade. It does come in shades. If you're deeper than me, I would recommend maybe not getting translucent unless you're going to do a very light application. But I'm going to apply it with a puff just under the eyes because it gives a very brightening effect and sets down beautifully without looking super duper flat, matte, or chalky or heavy. So I'm just going to pat that on right there, and it gives the most blurred, filtered effect to the skin. It softens the look of fine lines and pores. Definitely gives that very beautiful blurring effect. So I love to press it in with a puff, like a velour puff on the T-zone. And I'm not even applying that much powder, I'm just doing this and then pressing on. And it does just enough to set everything down and give that nice blurred a look. Some onto the lid here. Also, this velour puff I'm using is from Sony Kashuk. Very affordable. You get 2 of these for around $5 at Target. Kinda can't beat that. They wash up great. I've washed them now multiple times with soap and water. They do great. And yeah, I love them for the T-zone and because it gives that such soft focus, truly blurred look to the skin. And I like the finish of this because it's not that flat matte finish. Now we take a little bit on a brush on the rest of the face and just pat that in for a light little set. This is one of those powders that really looks beautiful for the under eye. And I think it might be the most expensive thing in the video today is this powder. Everything in the Age Perfect range from CoverGirl is expensive for the drugstore, but you can always catch a sale and get it at a cheaper price point. You don't have to pay full price by any means. Now, we have got a lovely complexion going, I think. Now let's move on to the eyes. I think I mentioned these before maybe in a video like this, but they're worth mentioning again. The Clean Color eyeshadows from CoverGirl. These are beautiful, absolutely beautiful shades within. Like the color stories, they're fantastic. These are quads. They are talc-free, vegan, paraben free, fragrance free, and cruelty free. Wonderful call out. The packaging is plastic, but it is very sturdy plastic packaging, if that makes sense. And the color stories are all very expensive color stories. They look expensive. The formulation is beautiful. So I have my favorite one. This has been a long time favorite here, is a Dreamy Pink. This is a Pillow Talk dupe, hands down, beautiful product. And I recently picked up Spiced Copper, which is a gorgeous, just spiced copper. Best way of describing it. Wonderful copper color story here. And then to me the most elegant, elevated color story, which is this one called Golden Toffee. This reminds me of a YSL palette, the clutch one that was so popular. It reminds me of that a lot. It's beautiful, and it's just such a simple, elevated color story that looks classic and classy. Like, you kind of can't go wrong with this color story. So we're going to use that today. We're going to start out using this beautiful mid-tone matte right here that is just a nice toffee shade. It's so smooth and creamy. Like, the pan itself is just really nice to look at. There's something so creamy looking about it. And look at that. Let me just swatch it. That is such a nice shade. The formulation on these is amazing. I mean, it rivals any of the luxury eyeshadow quads that I've tried. Some of that toffee shade, run that through the socket on the outer part. I'm gonna stop about right about here and focus most of the pigmentation right out here and blend that up and out. Let that kind of flow into where you applied the bronzer and everything else. Another perk of these palettes, they're just easy to use. They're so easy to use. You get a variety of formulations in here. You typically have 2 mattes and 2 shimmer metallic shades, but the metallic shades, one is more of a chunkier, sparkly formula, and one's more smooth metallic. And in a couple of these, the deeper matte actually has some teeny tiny pinpoint sparkles in there that you can barely see. And now I'm going to take the deepest matte within here, right here. It's just a nice dark brown. We're going to pat that on the outer corner. I'm going to blend that kind of up and out a little bit, diffuse that edge, let it blend into our toffee shade. So I'll flip the brush over here, go with my fluffy brush. Let me know if you would like a guide to affordable brushes, by the way. That is something definitely can do. Or like a drugstore starter kit type of video. Is that interesting to you guys? Or would be something useful? Let me know. There, it looks so pretty. It looks very elevated. It looks high-end. To me, these eyeshadows look expensive. And now I'm going to take this lightest metallic in here, right on this. And this is a really pretty, just kind of, it's a champagne that leans very golden. You can see that. I think it's a really pretty shade. The other shade in here, which is the more chunky one, is definitely a deeper kind of metallic shade. But I really want to use just this one. I think it looks pretty on the lid by itself. So I'm going to take some of that on this little brush. We're going to focus that on the inner part. It just gives a beautiful glow right there. Alright, if you wanted to add some more sparkle in, you could take this shade. I would recommend dampening the brush first because it's a little bit flaky unless you're doing your eyes before you do your foundation. I guess for demo's sake we can take a little bit. Let me put a little setting spray on my brush. Here we go. Gives a little more sparkle onto the lid. And this was really easy to do and quick. I'm going to do a little bit of liner on the upper lash line. And now for mascara. First, I'm going to go in with a primer that reminds me a little bit of good old Lancome lash primer. I think it's Soul's Booster. This is the Get a Grip primer from Hard Candy. Really good lash primer. Easy to use. It doesn't get all clumpy or weird or anything. It applies just the right amount. And yeah, one coat's all you need. One thorough coat, you let it fully dry. You go in through mascara. So go ahead and get this on so it can be drying. In the meantime, we'll finish up the eyebrows and do any last minute things. This primer though is really nice because it lengthens, volumizes, it actually helps with the wear time of your mascara and helps the color of the mascara be a little more true because it has this kind of light baby blue formulation. So if you're using like a colored mascara, it's going to really help it show up and be vibrant, which yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm going to let that dry and we're going to fill in, touch up the brows a little bit because I got a little messy when I was doing my complexion. I'm just going to brush them back through here and just make sure they are any little gaps that might have popped up. And while we're at it with the brows, another wonderful dupe for an Anastasia Beverly Hills brow product is the Brow Lift from e.l.f. Exact same thing as the Brow Freeze. Exact same thing for a quarter of the price, and it works wonderfully. Just like a little spoolie, you just kind of pat it in there, pick up a little bit of product, and you can brush it through the brows and it'll hold them in place and kind of do that laminate effect, which I really love. And to me, it gives the brows a little bit of a softer look. Gets rid of any harshness that may have been there from product. I recommend this being nearly a last step in your routine because powder and stuff will get in it if you do this first and it will get real messy and yucky looking. I have actually used a whole jar of this. This is my second jar because I liked it that much. And there we go. Brows filled and fluffed, looking perfect to me. Now I like my brows to look. Before I go ahead and do the mascara, I do want to use a little bit of this NYX bronzer. This is the Buttermelt bronzer in the shade All Buttered Up. This brings in a little bit of a blushy bronzer kind of vibe. It can kind of function as both, and it, to me, is kind of like the bronzers from Bare Minerals, but not quite. It's a little bit more bronze than that, little not quite as rosy, but there's definitely some rosiness in here. It smells lovely. It's a nice shea butter kind of fragrance. And the formulation, this feels almost like a cream. It is so silky smooth. It has a little bit of a soft glow to it. Just truly buttery feeling. It's insane how this formulation, like how soft and buttery it is for a powder. I've never felt anything like it. It is the silkiest, smoothest, most satisfying feeling powder on the market. And this compact is incredibly satisfying as well. Just something about it I love touching it. Anyway, the color is beautiful. What I think is really cool about these bronzers is that there is multiple shades for everybody, like a blush. Like you can get multiple shades within the range to work for you because they have such a interesting functionality of that little bit of a blush quality to them, and because they're so buildable in pigmentation, they can work for so many different people. And just the differences in tones, like I think it's really cool. And if it functions it's almost like a blush where you have more than one shade that you can wear from a line. That's what this reminds me of. So I'm going to take this with a light hand on me and just add a little bit to the cheeks and face to warm things up and kind of blush things up at the same time a little bit. So I'm just dabbing in, tap off the excess, and just pat this on right here. But yeah, this is a less is more product. It is quite pigmented. I cannot wait to try the blushes. Look at there. Look at that beautiful warmth, slight glow, almost blushiness that this gives. It's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. One of the most beautiful products at the drugstore, hands down. Like, out of all products at the drugstore, this is unique and special. We're going to go in with the Lash Paradise in the shade Latte, because you know what this is a dupe of? The YSL Lash Clash in the brown shade. The formulation of Lash Paradise is pretty similar to Lash Clash, like pretty similar, almost the same wand. Lashiness, kind of the effect it gives. Basically the same mascara. And this brown shade is beautiful from L'Oreal. It's stunning, a stunning brown. And applying it over this primer that's going to kind of lighten the lash and allow the brown from this to really pop. And this gives the most fluttery, beautiful lash, which is the case for all Lash Paradise. But particularly this brown shade is gorgeous, and I know how popular the Lash Clash in brown is because it's that lighter, kind of more vibrant brown. This is that shade. Wonderful for blue eyes, by the way. Really will make them pop, or green eyes, because this has that warmth in it. It is a beautiful everyday mascara too because of that. The color being a little bit softer, but still has impact because the formulation is so nice. Because I mean, Lash Paradise is a beautiful formula. Oh yeah, this wand is almost the same as the Lash Clash wand. It might be exactly the same. Hold on, I'll dig out my Lash Clash from YSL and we'll compare. Pairing that up with the primer, it's the most just lashy, almost like you got falsies on. There we go. Lashes for days. Heck yeah. Let me pull out Lash Clash here. Yeah, that's the same wand. That is the same wand. Lash Clash here. Lash Paradise over here. It's the same mascara. It's the same mascara. So, dupe for YSL Lash Clash. And I think Lash Clash is a wonderful mascara. And I kind of forgot what a dupe Lash Paradise was of it until L'Oreal sent that to me the other day. And I was like, oh, hey, wait a minute. Yeah, I just love that shade too. Really nice, I think, if you have lighter complexion, lighter hair, to go with a softer brown mascara too. It can look just a little less harsh on the eyes, especially when I don't have makeup on, because I have pretty decent lashes. And if I put on a black mascara with nothing else really on, it looks too much. Like it kind of takes over my eyes. So yeah, I like that brown shade. Okay, let's move on to lips now and finish off this look. I've got 3 lip products that I want to talk about. First is this lip liner from Revlon, just because it's a wonderful lip liner and has great wear time and longevity. That's why I'm mentioning this one. It's a twist up lip liner that I think performs wonderfully in comparison to high-end drugstore whatever lip liner. This is a really good one, and the shade Nude is truly like a nude lip shade for me. It matches my lips perfectly. So we use a little bit of that today. And what's cool about this lip liner is that it kind of operates like a gel eyeliner, is in that you have that little bit of playtime and then it kind of just sets down and wears for hours. And it just matches my lips so well. For lipstick, Revlon Super Lustrous. It is one of the most beautiful traditional cream formula lipsticks I think on the market, period. You could put it head to head with a Chanel lipstick and blindfold me. I would never know the difference because that's how nice these are. Just a true classic, can outperform any other traditional lipstick. It's just a good old school lipstick. So yeah, and I thought in that vein we should go with the most popular shade according to you guys in my comment section, Toast in New York. Y'all seem to love Toast in New York, which I get it. It is a classic, just good go with everything kind of shade that still has a little bit of something to it. It's more than just a your lips but better color. Like, it's got something there without being too much. It is a very elegant shade. I mean, it's gorgeous. It's got warmth, it's got peachiness, it's got a little bit of toastiness in there. Kind of can go with almost everything. It is a classic lip color that is just, it's timeless and beautiful. So that's why I wanted to mention that one. And honestly, head to head with any cream lipstick formula from a high-end brand to a luxury brand, and I think this is gonna perform just as well, and such a beautiful shade range from among the super lustrous line. Beautiful shade range. So anyways, toast to New York. Now, to top it off, I'm gonna go in with one of these NYX Fat Oil Slick Click pens. These basically Tarte Maracuja click up lip gloss, lip balm pens. Pretty much the same thing, right? Very hydrating, beautiful lip oil product. Hangs around, has good wear time. Kind of a sheer to buildable color depending on which one you go with. Like this one right here called In a Mood is very pigmented, whereas this one called Trending Topics much more sheer with a glittery finish and sparkle in it. Both are beautiful. To me, In a Mood, which is described as a wine, is kind of a black honey from Clinique dupe as well. So I think we're going to top our lips with just a little bit of this, add a little bit of glossiness in, and just for the sake of talking about it and including it in the video, because I kind of had to. I feel like I had to do it, and I couldn't decide between these two. They both needed to be talked about, okay? So yeah, you click it up, and you just apply it. And this looks really pretty over Toasted New York, honestly. They work together really well, but I think this can give that little bit of a black honey vibe on its own. Maybe a little bit warmer. I really like this formula. Very easy to use. It's a little thicker, a little bit of a richer formula than just the one with the doe foot from NYX, which are also nice. There's something about the stick though, is really good. And lastly, to finish everything off, setting spray. This is the L'Oreal Infallible 3-second setting mist with 36-hour wear. This is really good for kind of duping those more aerosolized, super long wear setting mists. I think, was it One Size Beauty has one? This right here from L'Oreal does amazing. And this is not what I would call an everyday product. This is very alcohol heavy, pretty much hairspray. So this is special occasion setting spray, but it performs like a high-end product. So we're gonna put a little bit on today. Hold your breath, close your eyes. Because yeah, you're gonna feel like you just sprayed your face with some hairspray, but it does the job. It locks your makeup in really well. It kind of can take down a little bit of that powdery look also, and I think it looks beautiful. So yeah, that is my picks for right now of products that I think perform like high-end products. I kind of want to do these videos at least like maybe twice a year, quarterly. I don't know, whenever it feels timely to do one of products that I think can either perform just as well or outperform high-end luxury makeup. Because in this economy where we can save some money and kind of dupe some products, girl, let's do it. So yeah, that's kind of why I want to do these videos, because I think they're just fun also to do. And to me, all these products perform 10 out of 10, best of the best. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down below, and if you have any suggestions of stuff that you think perform just as well as something at the drugstore. And I don't mean it to be just an exact dupe or anything like that, just something that you think should be at Sephora because it's that good kind of thing. Like something that just blows your mind or is just a really good dupe as well. Let me know in the comments and let me know your thoughts down below. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Stay safe. Bye now.